Welcome back everyone to Disturbing Videos Found Online. Usually I provide my camera and commentary at the end of each clip, but today we're going to try something different. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and with that said, let's go ahead and dive in.
To this day, no one knows what ripped those Soviet soldiers apart. Are you guys ready for this story? So how do we know the story is even true? Because the information came from journals kept by the Finnish soldiers during the Winter War. So November 30th, 1939 was the beginning of the Winter War, and the local Sami people warned the Soviet soldiers to stay away from Mount Vatvara and the Kibani Mountains. They told them there was bad spirits and demons on those places, such as Otso. I'm sorry, but do you guys remember that scene from Monsters, Inc. when Sully pops through the doors and he's in the mountains? Anyway, and Veron Susi, that actually looks like a werewolf and moons. You know, they didn't necessarily believe in werewolves like we think of from the movies with a man, full moon, but they did believe in shape-shifting. But the Soviets totally dismissed them, thinking the locals were just trying to dissuade them, and they wanted to take the high ground. War 101. This account actually takes place on the Kibani Mountains, not Mount Vatvara, and here's where it gets super interesting. The Finns let them. They literally hid and watched them climb up the Kibani Mountain. Now, the historical accounts say that there was only very specific narrow paths up and down the mountains, so the Finns posted units all around the mountain. I'm sorry, we gotta take a minute to appreciate the Finn soldiers because they were so badass. With their camo, they could hide right down in the snow, and they would put snow in their mouths so that the Soviets couldn't even see their breath. They counted the Soviets going up the mountain. That's how they knew there were 100 of them. So the Finns were posted below for several nights, and then one night, they heard howling and screaming and constant gunfire. Well, the Finns, being separated in units, thought that maybe one of the other units had engaged with the Soviets, but that's not what happened. After 2 nights of screaming, gunfire, grenade blasts, it fell silent. Dawn of the 3rd day, a Finnish patrol went up the mountain and came back with a report. Every single one of them was dead. It was reported that their limbs and heads had been torn off, that limbless torsos were hanging from the trees, some of the bodies had been disemboweled, ammunition casings everywhere. It had appeared as if they were torn apart by a large animal. So had they been attacked by somebody else, where were the other dead bodies? If they were attacked by animals, how come there were no dead animals? 100 armed Soviet soldiers completely annihilated without a trace of any other being. Also during wartime, because of morale, the Finns would have been quick to say this was them that pulled off such a major attack, but no one claimed it. And that's why this is such a big mystery to this day.
I've tried researching to find out the validity of the story and even checked Finland's military history. Now, Finland was invaded on November 30th, 1939 by the Soviets, which lasted until 1940, but nothing I could find was in relation to what happened on Kibani Mountain. Have you ever heard about this story? Years ago, when I was a child, we had some family up at the house, and as expected, we took some pictures throughout the day. But one picture that was taken was of me and another family member in one of the rooms in front of our window. And on the photo, you could see a man bent over, about 8 to 10 foot in height, looking through the window at us. Now, I have a family of midgets with the exception of one person who's about 6 foot.
While out walking his dog one evening in California, a man hears eerie sounds coming from the sky. So naturally, he records the strange phenomenon to show to his friends and family. Listen to this and ask yourself, why are we hearing strange noises coming from both above us in the skies and below us in the earth?
If there was construction going on around that time, then this could be a possible factor in explaining the noise. However, this has been happening so much over the years, and from what I've noticed since about 2011, with sounds of trumpets and other weird booms.
This is the impact zone for the asteroid, with this guy saying that he's going to make a planetary defense. You know, something that only has a 2.3% chance. Well, that they're telling us about. That's the size of this. You know, that's 100 times more powerful than what happened in Hiroshima. But that one I'm not concerned about. This is the one I'm concerned about. That's literally hiding behind the sun. And when you search that name in Gematria, well, the hidden one also has the same number layout, which also has the same number as 666. That, you know, is going to be 10 times closer on April 13th of 2029. You know, the one that also has a projected date in 2035 on Christmas Day. So let's go check out Hiroshima so I can give you a scale. On the immediate area, it was 2 miles, while the radiation was 6 miles. While there was rain that contained radiation up to 20 miles away. So now let's go to America and go 20 miles times 100. And if it hit on that solar eclipse path, that's 2,000 miles that way, and that way, and that way. But you know, everything's fine. It has a 97.7% chance of not. Or do they know something we don't? And that's why they're doing a planetary defense.
Personally, I see this as just another asteroid where the media puts fear in people's hearts and tries to make us feel like the world is going to end and that our species will go extinct. However, in saying that, I can't recall a time where they have told us or warned us of an asteroid predicted to hit us 7 years from now. I still think it'll miss Earth, but is this something we should be paying more attention to?
French Macaulay Culkin claims he only got out of the industry alive because he was a smart, suspicious kid, and he got too famous to be deleted, unlike some of the other kids in the industry. The explosive claims made by Culkin were reported by French media, including Les Echos, a newspaper. However, all reports were quickly deleted within an hour of appearing online. During the interview, Culkin claimed that children in the entertainment industry learn very early to recognize which of them want to do bad things to you and which of them have even darker tastes, explaining that some of the Hollywood executives wear Silence of the Lamb, Buffalo Bill type of trophy. Asked to explain what that phrase means, Culkin said they wear shoes, belts, and wallets made out of the SKIN of muchachitos, you know, the kiddos that have been ritually deleted. Have you seen leather products made from? It has a very unusual, distinctive look. I learned at a very young age to identify it, said 37-year-old Culkin, who has been living in Paris since 2003. I was 11 the first time I saw it. I was filming Home Alone 2 in New York, Culkin said. I was ushered into a back room on set. There was a guy in there, a powerful executive suit type. You know what I mean? He tried to make me relax, gave me a can of Coke, started telling me about the nature of the industry, basically wanted me to cut my parents out. He wanted me to be my guardian, or he wanted to be my guardian rather. He said he would make me into the biggest teen star in history. He said I had it all. He said I had to get rid of my parents. I was like, dude, I'm 11. He said, you're a man now. Macaulay Culkin then explains that the man began to make his intentions clear as day. He started breathing a certain way, and my experience with nasty people kicked in. I could tell he was interested in me. He did something with his lips and told me I was very handsome. I think I managed to say thank you and started thinking about how I could get the F out of there. Macaulay Culkin said the Hollywood executive then dropped a heavy hint about where the came from that made his patent leather shoes. He asked me if I knew Heather O'Rourke. Yeah, I remember her. I grew up watching Poltergeist. I remember her in Happy Days. She was so
They even go as far as saying that our skin is the best leather you can get, but the Hollywood entertainment industry is a reprehensible place for very sick people and is not a place for little ones, regardless if the parents supervise them on set or not. It makes you think just what other detestable and repulsive things they have been hiding from the public over the years.
I would be shocked if this video doesn't get removed from this platform, so you should watch this now and download it while you still can, because I kid you not, this sounds like a horror movie.
Implant aborted baby parts into lab animals. Have you heard of that sort of research?
Yeah, we did an analysis a few years ago showing that over 90% of experiments with using human fetal tissue and putting them involved animals were funded by Fauci's NIAID.
Do you know where they're getting the aborted human fetal tissue?
A lot of it is happening at colleges and universities that have affiliated hospitals that perform that procedure.
Madam Chair, I think we need to look into that as well.
So guys, this video is for entertainment purposes only, right? But I want to make clear, she is basically saying they are using the parts from new souls. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying here. She's saying they're using them and combining them with other animals. Now look, I don't care what side you're on. If you don't even think this should be investigated, even if this is just a rumor, if you don't think that rumor should be investigated, what is wrong with you? I'll take this with a grain of salt because this is just some random person on X, but still, they say they are playing God. Humanity is not prepared for the level at which this is being done to come out. This is me interjecting here. I have been saying this exact thing that they are saying. I'm going to say 99.9% of people are not prepared for all of the things that are being hidden from us right now. And that is exactly why they're being hidden, because we would freak out. Those USOs under the sea are related to this. Anyway, they continue to say, my family knows someone ex-military who had to end a creature that was created in a lab and merged with AI. Nope. If this is true, this is a true horror story. But we are not in control. Humanity is not in control of the gov around the world. And I need you guys to remember this when we see things like USA. This is not humanity making these decisions. This is humanity following orders. And who are they following orders from? They are following orders from the most ancient quote-unquote gods, the Anunnaki, the alien race. This alien race is who the free people who build things follow. That is their quote-unquote God. All of those people have sold their soul to those beings, and they at least believe that they have no shot at going to heaven. We are talking about the very successful ones, not the average person who thinks they do good things. And these people were traumatized into this from birth. You need to wake up so the world can heal, because we need you. You are not too stupid to understand what's going on. You are incredibly smart, and they fear you. They fear your soul. They fear your ability to love. They fear your kindness, and they fear your strength. They fear your fierceness, and they fear your abilities. Do not let them manipulate you any longer.
This doesn't and wouldn't surprise me if all govs are doing this. If it is true, this shows us not just the level of evil of where they are at, but the lack of humanity they have in their hearts to carry out such experiments. Keep in mind, these people dictate the system and future you live in.
Imagine leaving your house, and every time you see this. Ashley claims she's been dealing with a disturbing situation. Every time she leaves, her neighbor is watching her. She finally caught the moment on video showing a shadowy figure standing completely still in the window, staring straight at her. But it doesn't stop there. Other users have commented saying they've had similar experiences. Neighbors who peek out at odd hours, turn lights on when they arrive, or even follow their movements. Some believe it's just curiosity, while others fear something much more sinister. So, is this just a nosy neighbor, or something more dangerous? Some say this could be a case of paranoia, a lonely person keeping tabs on their surroundings. But others aren't so sure. One commenter shared a terrifying experience where a neighbor who started with watching eventually broke into their home. Ashlyn says she's tried turning her headlights directly at the window, but the neighbor still refuses to look away. Should she be concerned, or is there an explanation behind these eerie encounters? What do you think?
If you have a neighbour that is curious, they're going to look out the odd time. If they look out every time you come home or leave, then they could be paranoid. But if they look out the odd time and you're the person next door, sitting in your car, holding your phone up at them every time, then that person might be paranoid because of the odd times they have looked out. They've always found you recording them in your car, which in turn could be making them look out more to see if you're recording them. Is this just a case of misleading perception, or something this person should be more worried about?
In 2020, an exclusive organisation for the world's most powerful people, called Stakeholders, enacted a 10-year transition to a global authoritarian political system called stakeholder capitalism.
It's a funeral of shareholder capitalism, and it's a birth of stakeholder capitalism.
You have shown us the way forward.
One of their agendas by 2030 is to own the food supply chain.
Bill Gates became the largest individual owner of farmland.
According to their reports, this is what they want us to eat.
GMO wheat, every piece of corn I've ever eaten is GMO corn. So these are things that billions of years of using these products have been done. Anyway, these are proven products.
The stakeholders have an initiative to ban livestock.
Cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. So we need to change cows.
And increase our consumption of
artificial meat, like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
We'll have the convenience of printing it from our homes. Or luckily for us,
today, the European Commission has officially declared mealworms to be food.
We can choose real meat that's climate change friendly.
Mealworms, crickets, grasshoppers. These tiny insects, just over 2 centimeters long, could be key to feeding the planet.
As the stakeholders continue to scare us with their climate change propaganda,
climate change. It threatens to tip tens of millions of people over the edge into food insecurity, followed by malnutrition, mass hunger and famine in a crisis that would last for years.
We also expose the World Economic Forum's initiatives.
The Netherlands will host the World Economic Forum Food Innovation Hubs
that are designed to remove ownership of family farms.
This means turfing people off their farms.
Massive farmer protests have broken out around the Netherlands.
Thousands of farmers have been protesting on the outskirts of Delhi.
Trudeau is not alone. Leaders from 4 countries, they want governments like India to scrap farmer-friendly laws.
Good evening. Farmers all over the country walked off the paddock today and took their tractors to town.
Every fifth farmer you see here today will be gone by 2030.
Hundreds of French farmers drove their tractors to Paris.
Last weekend, once again, I had a colleague who killed himself.
You're not the only farmer with this problem. Farmers are heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken, and they don't know where to turn.
Thousands of farmers from southeast Mercia
or from all over Ireland, we have no option. We are not paying carbon tax.
Hundreds of farmers have driven their tractors into the centre of Belgium's capital.
Thousands of farmers from across Germany descended on this city.
When we all have to go, where does the food come from?
Our food.
They say agriculture contributes between 10 to 24% for climate change and 73% for burning fossil fuels. If you believe in climate change, that is. Private jets alone contribute towards 4%. So if they really were concerned about the climate, wouldn't they be starting with themselves first? And wouldn't they be doing much more to reduce fossil fuels rather than focusing on the very thing that keeps us alive, which is agriculture? Considering fossil fuels sit at 73%.
If this was... I'm going to use this word predicted for lack of a better word. This is not prophecy, but prediction. If this was predicted 27 years ago, somebody knew something. Okay, here's the list. This is an abbreviated list. I could have made it much longer. You know I can. I didn't. Okay, you ready for the list? Fast mutating viral disease pandemics. genetically developed vaccines, smart IDs. 1997! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scream, but, just make sure none of you are nodding off, because the eyes get heavy. And DNA database tracking. DNA chips. Get this one. 1997. Gene-based pharmaceuticals.
Wow.
Transmitting genetic instructions for a disease process. How about this one? You ready for it? Wait for it. Artificial intelligence to determine gene patterns. 27 years ago, who had heard about AI?
Right.
Apparently they had. How about this one? Robots for doing genome sequencing.
Robots? Wow. Okay.
And then this one blew me away. Using recombinant DNA for making spike proteins. 1997? It gets even worse. Smart homes.
Smart cities.
They have a whole chapter on smart homes / smart cities.
Yeah.
This one will absolutely floor you. It did me. In 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. They predicted, not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually.
No.
Come on. Listen, that's, I mean, how do you know that? Because you're the one who did that. World War III, of course. Nuclear devices causing widespread contamination.
Yeah.
Nanotech devices. This stuff was never even heard of. Digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
And last but certainly not least, vaccination programs. I'm sorry, I got to chuckle, because if I don't, I'll cry. Vaccination programs run by organizations like the World Health Organization for a global killer that has yet to emerge.
Guys.
First printing, February 1997.
If this was published 27 years ago, it means somebody knew something. The last part actually got me. The vaccination programs run by the killer that we know, and the lab-grown meat, all the genetical stuff, AI and all those things, predicted 27 years ago. For those of you who want to see the full video, it's on the description on that video. So just go there and see things for yourself. Meanwhile, share this video for others to see and understand what is going on.
For the sleepers, the last decade is nothing but a sequence of unfortunate circumstances and events that could not be helped or prevented. And for us who are awake, the last decade has been nothing but a predictable one-sided chess game where pieces have been manipulatively and deceptively put in place to ensure their goals are not only met, but are closer to a checkmate before the masses even wake up.
3 intriguing videos that leave experts puzzled.
Wow. Génial. Nothing. Nothing, mama. Woohoo!
Bro, y'all missed it. It's like 3:40 in the morning and I'm seeing a badass eclipse, man. Y'all missed that shit. Ooh, man, this is crazy. Man, y'all missed that, guys. Which is weird though, cause there's like a moon over here. That's why I thought it was weird, but I was like, whatever. There's two of them.
What is that?
I feel the first video can be explained as the guy could simply be predicting the tide going out or coming in, or the circumstances at that time that could be leading to the water receding. But what are your thoughts on clips 2 and 3? That's all I have for you today, everyone, and thanks very much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below in relation to how the show was conducted today, and if you prefer that style. But until the next video, stay safe, and I'll see you then.